Imagine you're holding a safe full of coins. Every month, your mission is to stop these coins from magically disappearing until there's nothing left. Sounds impossible, right? Many people feel like their money vanishes mysteriously, and believe it or not, it's not magic but a common habit. When it comes to saving, you've probably heard those traditional tips, right? For example, tracking all your expenses, converting a purchase into how many hours of work it took to earn that money, or even using cash instead of credit cards. These tips are helpful because they create awareness about the value of money. After all, watching your cash physically disappear hurts more than simply swiping a card and forgetting about it. But sometimes these strategies seem either too basic or hard to maintain. What if I told you we could go beyond that, exploring creative methods that will completely change how you see your finances? In this video, I want to take you beyond the obvious. Let's explore 5 surprising ways to save money, so unexpected they'll transform your perspective on finances and even make it fun. Ready to learn how to save your wallet in an unexpected way? Let's dive in. If you love learning in a fun and practical way, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more tips that can transform how you handle money. Now let's get to it. Let's start with a healthy lifestyle saves money. How diet and healthy habits can transform your finances. Have you noticed how our hectic routines push us to make quick decisions that are often expensive and unhealthy? The habit we'll talk about today is taking care of your health through a balanced diet and avoiding harmful vices. Imagine this. You wake up early, rush to get ready, and barely have time for a complete breakfast. By lunchtime, after a busy morning, you're starving, out of energy, and the easiest choice is that corner restaurant, where the food is tasty but pricey. Or worse, you give in to fast food. It's cheaper and faster, but you know it's bad for your health in the long run. Now let's extend this thought a bit further. How often do you spend on an extra coffee in the afternoon, that tempting croissant, or sugary drinks that seem harmless but add up to a considerable amount by the end of the month? And what about the costs of vices like smoking or social drinking? What seems small at the moment can turn into a big dent in your budget over time. Now, imagine the ideal version of yourself who takes care of their health and finances with equal dedication. This version plans ahead, prepares meals at home, and brings a nutritious lunchbox to work. At lunch, instead of grabbing the first meal available, they choose foods that truly nourish, like salads, lean proteins, and whole grains. Between meals, fresh fruits and water replace processed snacks and sugary drinks. Does it sound like a sacrifice? Maybe at first. But the secret is to think about how much you save by taking care of your body. Living healthily is like investing in yourself. When you choose natural foods and avoid spending on harmful habits, the return isn't just a longer life but also a fuller wallet. Think of the benefits. Fewer doctor visits, fewer medications, more energy to enjoy the day, and of course, more money left over to pursue your dreams or invest in something that truly brings you joy. And guess what? Besides saving money, you gain quality of life. That feeling of waking up refreshed, full of energy to tackle the day, that's priceless. Taking care of your health is a way of gifting yourself every day, and the best gift is the savings you don't even notice you're making. So how about giving this healthier, more economical version of yourself a chance? After all, your future will thank you, and so will your wallet. Did we talk about the positive impact a healthy lifestyle can have not only on your health but also on your wallet? Well, taking care of your health is a perfect example of how conscious decisions can completely change your relationship with money. But believe it or not, there's another powerful saving strategy that may seem unusual but works. Procrastinate purchases, not responsibilities. Did you know that procrastination, when used strategically, can be a great ally in saving money? Before you dismiss this idea, let me explain. We're used to hearing that procrastination is one of the biggest productivity villains, but when it comes to spending, it can be a real superpower. Think about how often you've put off doing something important out of sheer laziness. Maybe you delayed that project at work or postponed cleaning the house, only to regret not doing it earlier. But curiously, the same behavior that delays our responsibilities speeds up our buying decisions. How many times have you bought something impulsively without thinking about the consequences, only to realize that the bill doesn't procrastinate and arrives at the end of the month, mercilessly? This brings us to the next habit I want to share with you: delaying impulsive purchases to give reason a chance to step in. It may sound contradictory, but the idea is simple and effective. When you feel that uncontrollable urge to buy something, stop, breathe, and wait. Yes, sleep on it before making any significant purchase. Often, the excitement of wanting that item fades as you give space for logic to take over. If after a good night's sleep you still feel the need for the product, then evaluate it calmly. But trust me, most of the time, the desire simply vanishes. It's like the old wisdom from our mothers who used to say, "We'll buy it on the way back." It was a trick to distract us, and in the end we realized we didn't need it that much. Applying this principle in adulthood is a powerful way to avoid unnecessary purchases. You become more mindful, less impulsive, and save a significant amount of money as a result. So, next time you feel that urge to buy something just because it's 50% off or trending, remember to be a procrastinator in consumption, not in life. After all, delaying a purchase is far less painful than regretting an impulsive one that only brings headaches. How about adopting this habit and starting to see a difference in your wallet? Speaking of making more conscious decisions, we've seen how delaying impulsive purchases allows reason to take the lead. Procrastinating in consumption helps avoid regrets and strengthens your self-control. But the truth is, we don't always spend money because we want or need something. Sometimes the reason runs deeper, the need to fit in or impress others. This is where the next habit comes in, buying for yourself, not for others. How many times have you bought something just because everyone else was buying it? Think about that time you saw a friend or coworker with the latest phone, and suddenly your perfectly functioning device felt outdated. Or when everyone went out for an expensive dinner, and you felt pressured to join, even though it stretched your budget thin. This is the habit we need to change. Stop buying things to impress others and start making purchases that truly matter to you. Breaking out of the teenage mentality of comparing yourself to others is essential. We're adults now, and it's time to adopt a new mindset. Imagine the relief of buying something because it makes sense for you, not because others will think it's cool. The question that should guide your purchases is simple. Do I really need this, or am I trying to maintain an image? For instance, do you need a top-of-the-line smartphone with features you'll never use, or does a more affordable model meet your needs perfectly? This doesn't mean you should never treat yourself or buy something you want. The key is doing it for the right reasons, free from ego or comparison. Working on your ego is a process. Learning not to compare yourself to others and not buying things for status is liberating. After all, true financial maturity is caring about what makes you happy, not what others think. And here's the best part. When you start buying consciously, your money goes further, giving you the freedom to invest in what truly matters. So, next time you feel like buying something expensive just because everyone else is, ask yourself, am I doing this for me or for others? If it's due to social pressure, take a moment to reconsider and prioritize what makes sense for you. Saving isn't just about having more money but about living a life aligned with your values and priorities. If you've been enjoying these tips so far and feel you're learning something valuable about transforming your relationship with money, leave a comment below with the keyword #ConsciousSpending. I'd love to hear if these ideas resonate with you and how you plan to apply them in your daily life. And don't forget to share this video with someone who could also use these tips. So far, we've talked about taking care of your health to save money and delaying impulsive purchases to make more conscious decisions. We also discussed how stopping the habit of buying to impress others can free up both your wallet and your emotional well-being. But even with all these tips, there's a silent villain that many of us ignore: the small daily expenses. And this brings us to the next habit: paying attention to the little costs that add up. You know that phrase, "Oh, it's just $20, it won't make me poorer"? The truth is, this thought may seem harmless, but when you add up these small amounts over the month, they become a shocking figure. Think about everything you spend on without a second thought. The premium coffee you grab every morning, the mid-afternoon snack, unnecessary bank fees, or even that extra TV plan you barely use. Individually, each of these expenses seems insignificant, but together they form a financial storm. Imagine you have a bucket full of water, but that bucket has small holes. At first, you hardly notice the water leaking, but over time, the bucket empties without you realizing it. This is exactly how small expenses work. They drain your money so discreetly that, by the time you notice, you've already lost a significant amount. Here's the challenge. Spend some time analyzing where your money is going. Write down every small expense for a week, then do the math. You'll be surprised by how much is slipping through your fingers. More importantly, you'll start identifying where you can cut back without feeling much of a loss. Perhaps swapping that expensive coffee for one made at home, canceling a subscription you no longer use, or finding free entertainment options. The difference may not seem huge right away, but over time, these small changes add up and can be redirected towards something more meaningful, like an emergency fund, a dream vacation, or even an investment for the future. Remember, the secret to good financial health isn't just in the big decisions but also in the small adjustments of daily life. So, how about starting to pay more attention to these small expenses? Share in the comments if you've already spotted any costs you could cut to save more. Let's keep learning together. Now that you understand the impact of small expenses, which are like those tiny holes in the bucket draining your savings, let's take it a step further. You might think, but if I already take care of small expenses and impulsive purchases, what else can I do? Well, there's one habit that can change your financial mindset forever, and it involves something much deeper: adopting a minimalist lifestyle. Don't worry, I'm not saying you need to get rid of everything and live with just one set of clothes. Minimalism, as we'll discuss here, is about making conscious choices and simplifying what you have to focus on what truly matters. The idea is to live with less but better. How many times have you looked at your closet full of clothes and still felt like you had nothing to wear? Or how many electronics have you bought that are now just collecting dust? All these items represent idle money, things you bought thinking you needed but that, in reality, add no value to your life. The secret of minimalism is simple: quality over quantity. Having fewer things means fewer expenses, fewer worries, and more time and money to invest in what truly matters to you. When you choose to own only the essentials, you'll start to notice that many of the items you accumulate don't bring happiness or purpose. Think of your life as a backpack. If it's filled with things you don't even use, it becomes heavy and slows you down. Now, if you get rid of the excess and keep only what's necessary, your journey becomes lighter, and you have room to carry what truly matters. This applies to clothes, shoes, gadgets, or even the excess of information and commitments that overwhelm us. Making this transition might seem challenging, but start slowly. Take some time to look around your house and ask, do I really need this? Does it make me happy or just take up space? If the answer is no, maybe it's time to let it go. Adopting a minimalist lifestyle isn't about depriving yourself. It's about creating space, time, and money to live more consciously and happily. If this idea makes you reflect, share in the comments how you perceive minimalism in your life. How about starting to simplify today? Remember, the lighter you live, the further you can go. So, we've seen how minimalism can work wonders not only for your home but also for your mind and wallet. But there's still one crucial habit that can protect your finances in a way you may never have considered. It's all about finding the balance between being responsible and being strategic with your money. It's time to talk about using common sense in your savings and avoiding the penny-pinching mentality. Imagine this: you're so focused on saving every cent that you end up spending more energy and time than necessary. Do you know the saying, penny wise, pound foolish? That's exactly it. Saving is important, but over-concern with minor savings can lead you to miss opportunities or spend more in the long run. Let me explain how this works. For example, you decide to save a few bucks by refueling your car at a gas station that offers cheaper fuel but is far from home. In the end, the time lost, the wear on your vehicle, and even the stress of traffic aren't worth what you saved. Another example is buying low-quality products just because they're cheaper, but they'll soon need replacing, leading to higher costs over time. It's like that old story: if you buy something cheap that breaks quickly, you'll end up spending more than if you'd invested in something durable from the start. The key here is balance. Saving is good, but it's important to have common sense. The goal isn't to become someone who thinks about saving at all costs, but someone who knows how to make smart financial choices. Ask yourself, am I saving strategically or am I losing more than I gain? This reflection is crucial to avoid falling into the trap of wasting time, energy, and quality of life for savings that, in the end, don't make much difference. Being mindful of your finances means knowing when it's worth spending and when it's better to save. This could include investing in something with long-term benefits, like a quality pair of shoes that will last for years, or paying a little more for a service that saves you time and stress. Remember, money is a resource, but your time and peace of mind are also valuable. If you've ever found yourself in situations where you saved, only to realize in the end that you lost more than you gained, share your experience in the comments. Let's exchange ideas on how to save smartly without becoming prisoners of an obsession with being cheap. Speaking of balance, we can't ignore the fact that even when saving wisely and avoiding the obsession with penny pinching, there's still a behavior that can drain your finances without you realizing it: the desire to compare your life to others. This brings us to the next essential habit: stop comparing yourself and work on your ego. Let's be honest, we've all fallen into the trap of comparing our situation to others. Maybe you've seen a coworker buy a new car or a friend showing off the latest phone model, and it made you feel like you needed to keep up. But the truth is that constantly comparing yourself to others is a surefire recipe for financial and emotional exhaustion. The feeling of wanting what everyone else has is often fueled by our ego and the need to show that we're doing well in life. But here's the thing: you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Buying expensive or unnecessary things to impress others only leads to expenses that could have been avoided. What you need to do is adopt a mature mindset and understand that your worth isn't in the things you own but in who you are and the life you're building for yourself. Be honest with yourself. Is that new phone on your wish list truly a necessity, or is it a whim driven by the desire to seem up to date? Or maybe you're thinking about renovating your home just because all your neighbors have done the same, even though your house is perfectly functional. Working on your ego means understanding that what matters is what makes sense for you, not what others think you should have. Financial maturity involves making choices that will benefit you, even if it means not following trends or seeming outdated to some. The important thing is that you feel comfortable and secure with your financial decisions. Invest in what truly adds value to your life, not in what feeds comparisons with others. So, the next time you feel tempted to buy something to impress or fit in, pause and ask yourself, am I doing this for me or for others? Over time, you'll realize that living according to your own priorities is liberating, both for your well-being and your wallet. If this reflection resonates with you, leave a comment below about what motivates you to spend and how you plan to change that. Let's keep learning together and strengthening our relationship with money. Now that you understand the importance of not comparing yourself to others and making financial choices aligned with your values, let's talk about one last point that can further transform your relationship with money: recognizing the impact of small savings over time. It might seem contradictory after everything we've discussed about not obsessing over every cent, but the difference here is awareness and purpose behind these small savings. Sometimes, it's not the big purchases that hurt our budget but the smaller, constant expenses that, when added up, make a huge difference in the long run. Think about simple things like that streaming service subscription you rarely use or bank fees that, with a bit of research, you could avoid. It's easy to think these expenses are irrelevant, but the truth is that over the years, they can amount to hundreds or even thousands of dollars that could have been saved or invested. Here's a practical exercise. Analyze your expenses and see which ones can be cut or reduced without compromising your quality of life. This doesn't mean cutting everything but being strategic. If you buy coffee outside every day, maybe reduce the frequency and make coffee at home a few days a week. If you notice you're paying for apps or subscriptions you don't use, cancel them and redirect that money toward an emergency fund or a bigger goal. The idea here is to be mindful and understand that saving on small things won't make you rich overnight, but over time, it makes a significant difference. When you add up these amounts over months or years, you realize that even without drastic sacrifices, you can have extra money to invest in something that truly matters. Imagine what it would be like to have a positive balance for a dream trip, to pay for a course you've wanted to take for years, or simply to have greater financial security. These small changes, when done with purpose, create a sense of control and accomplishment. Now that you have all these tools, it's almost time to see how they fit into an overall strategy. But before we get there, I want to hear from you. Which of these tips do you think will be the easiest to implement in your life? Leave a comment and soon we'll connect everything to make it all come together. We've reached the end of this journey on how to change your financial mindset and transform your relationship with money. Let's recap the key points we've covered. We started by understanding how adopting a healthy lifestyle not only improves your health but also works wonders for your wallet. We talked about the importance of procrastinating impulsive purchases, giving reason time to take charge and avoiding regret. Next, we discussed how to avoid the trap of buying to impress others and learning to make choices that truly make sense for you. And, of course, we saw the power of paying attention to small daily expenses and the surprising impact they can have over time. Finally, we talked about balance. Not being obsessive over every penny but being strategic and mindful with your savings. Why does all this matter? Because a financial mindset isn't just about having more money but about living a life aligned with your values, priorities, and dreams. When you start to see money as a tool that can work in your favor, not as a burden or source of anxiety, everything changes. You feel more in control, better prepared for the unexpected, and freer to enjoy life. Remember, money is a resource, but your health, peace of mind, and happiness are priceless. Adopt habits that strike a balance between living well today and ensuring you're secure and happy tomorrow. That's what makes you a smart manager of your own life. Now, how about putting at least one of these tips into practice? Comment below on which habit you're most excited to implement and how you hope it will transform your financial life. And remember, with every conscious choice, you're investing in your future. A big hug, keep nurturing your financial mindset, and always strive to be the best version of yourself. See you in the next video.